If you make your bed every morning, you'll have won the first task of the day. Is only one of the small lessons that we get taught in this book called Make Your Bed by William H. McRaven. U.S. Navy SEALs are some of the most uncommon people on planet Earth. William shares with us his experience within the Navy SEALs training and also his career. This book is packed with useful stuff that you could use in your life and in your business. Today, we have a conversation with Christian Charron and Cedrick Gauthier, myself, Martin Clement, about what we thought about this very, very interesting book called Make Your Bed. Chris and Cedrick, how are you, gentlemen?
Good.
Good morning.
Good, sir.
How'd you guys find out about this book? Pretty interesting.
Good book.
How did we find out about it? I actually saw this guy's speech at a graduation. I guess it's at a college?
Texas University.
Is that it?
Yes.
On a video on Facebook a few years ago. And the guy's speech was so inspiring, so simple yet so inspiring. And he starts off by explaining on how making your bed every morning leads you to having better days and living a better life.
Yeah.
So that's how I found out about Mr. William McRaven.
Yeah, they Goldcast did a phenomenal video with it, and like if you put Goldcast and Make Your Bed on YouTube, you'll get it. It's a 7 or 8 minute video.
What is Goldcast?
So Goldcast, they just make a bunch of motivational videos.
Really?
So like I follow their channel on YouTube. Very good channel just because of that. Like it's a 5-minute clip. It's a story about somebody like
that stuff is good.
Yeah. Like they interview somebody or they use a speech and they have like the little motivating music behind.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah. No, they're good videos.
Yeah, I like.
That's actually the back of the book is actually the speech, like the big part of the speech.
It.
Yeah.
It's good.
I like how they included the entirety of the thing at the back of the book too.
It's very good.
Yeah.
So it sounds very simple when you look at the title, make your bed.
Mm-hmm.
But like this book goes into about 10 rules, I think.
Yeah.
Or exactly 10 rules.
Yeah.
10 chapters, each with its own lesson learned by Admiral McRaven during his time in the Navy SEALs.
It's well thought out, well written, very simple, and it's made in a way that it catches your attention every chapter. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. And it starts off by making your bed. So maybe we jump right into it.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So first off, do you guys make your bed in the morning?
Every morning.
My wife makes our bed. No, so we kind of the same thing. I don't make the bed every morning, but I empty the dishwasher every morning. So she makes the bed, I go empty the dishwasher. Kind of the same thing, but the whole theory is just that by doing one simple task every single morning, it motivates you of doing more. You have a sense of accomplishment right away. Your day starts on a good path, and then if you have a bad day, you come up and you're in a fresh bed, or the dishwasher is empty when you come up, so you don't have to do it, right? So the whole theory is just to get your day started in a great way.
It anchors your day.
Start with a victory.
Starts with a victory.
Yeah. Even sometimes I feel like not making my bed and just like, going off to work and whatever, it's okay. But I look at my bed and it bugs the hell out of me. Like I have to make sure that mind you, it's not made in the same way that he describes his little bunk bed.
Bouncing a quarter off of the sheets.
Yeah. Anyways,
It's kind of intense.
but when I get back home at night and my bed is made, it's like, hey, I made that.
It's relaxing.
Wrinkle free.
To know that it's done.
Exactly.
Just like doing the dishes in the morning or the laundry.
Yeah.
It bookends your day. Is that the term?
Bookend your day. So you do the same thing every morning and every evening.
Yeah.
And it's just a habit of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did my retreat for 3 days alone, the place didn't have a dishwasher. I know it's stupid. Like it's not much. Like, so at the end of the day, I do my dishes and then I just put them away. But in the morning, I was like, what do I do? Like it's just, and people say, well, don't do the dishes. It's good. And I know, but it's just like, I felt like there was something that was missing. It's not like I enjoy emptying the dishwasher. It's just like, it's the habit of doing it.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Like anything else, once you get into a habit of it, you
And
feel weird if you don't do it.
it becomes that it's not a chore anymore. So that's great.
No,
Mhm.
of course. There's a few chapters that caught our attention. We talked about it off air. Chris, you did mention that not going at it alone. Chapter number 2
Mm-hmm.
caught your attention.
Yeah. Exactly. The way he explains it is find someone to paddle with, right? So every time he starts a chapter, he explains a little story from his SEAL training, his few weeks. I think it's 6 months, right? SEAL training?
I'm not sure. I know.
It does mention
It's
6
6
months.
months.
Yeah, okay.
6
So
months and 1 week of hell week.
yeah. So
Hell week.
basically, these are all lessons he learned throughout SEAL training. And the one where he explains that you need someone to paddle with, like during your SEAL training, you're partnered up with someone. I think it's random. It's not necessarily like
I think they're assigned because there was the Munchkin crew, right? The
Yeah.
small dudes.
yeah,
And there's no way that's random. There
Well,
was
Right.
no.
6 guys below 5'4".
They always go by height because when they carry the boats, they need to be same height. So if
Yeah.
there's somebody at 6'4", the other one's 5'6", well, they're not. The 5'6" is useless, right? So
Right.
Jesus.
that's
Right.
it. They're there by height.
right. So but they pair you up with another partner to do your night swims and your long runs and your obstacle courses and stuff like that. So he says that the importance of having your partner is that whenever you're feeling down or you're like exhausted, the other one's there to pick you up. So it's always evening out. The balance is there because of your partner. So for me, what I saw in that is what we're doing just now. Our group, we have a group of agents that meet with each other every Monday at 1, and we talk about our goals and what went wrong, our wins of the week and stuff like that. And I find that by having this accountability group, whether it's one person or 5, you need to have that set in your business or your everyday life to help you pick you up when you're dragging your feet, right? So I know that coming Monday, if I didn't do all my tasks, I pick myself up and I do it because I know I can't let you guys down. So that's the importance of having someone to paddle with.
Not letting the other person down is a good point because sometimes it's just like it's okay if I don't do it. I'm only hurting myself. But
Yeah.
if you're hurting the same group, the whole group, then it's different.
Yeah. And I can only imagine how bad it must be during SEAL training if you're dragging your feet and then you see your partner just like, swimming away and you're falling behind. You're like, oh man, I can't let this guy down. Like you just pick up the pace.
So I think it goes both ways. Like you're saying, it must feel pretty bad to see your buddy getting away from you. But I've heard a lot of these Navy SEAL guys like Jocko Willink and also David Goggins saying that when they are in that hell week, they pick a guy that they're going to help get across the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy's coming with me. I'm going to help him go through the finish line. And it's sort of like a roadblock to quitting.
Yeah.
Where you're like, well, no, I'm getting Chris across the line.
Yeah. So
I can't quit.
Yeah,
having
I
a
can't
mission,
quit.
having a mission will help you
Yeah.
attain your
partner.
mission. Yeah, for sure.
We've been working together for a long time, and
Yeah.
when you're busy, I want to be busy. When I'm busy, you want to be busy.
Carry it around my dead weight for a while,
They know, of course not.
No, I
it's
get what you're
it's a
saying.
synergy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You're more than the sum of each of you.
Yeah.
You multiply each other.
Yeah.
The Navy SEAL idea you were picking on is very good because I think there's 6 or 8 SEAL per boat.
Yeah.
And like for example, if one quits, they're now 7 instead of 8. Second one quit, they're 6, and they're still carrying the same weight, right? And then so if the more people quit, the harder it is for your teammates that you're leaving behind. And the way that it works is now you see whole boats quitting instead of just one person quitting. So
Yeah.
it is like it forces you to try to stay on because you just encourage your partner selfishly as well because if he goes, it's tougher on you.
Yeah, more than half the class every time quits, right?
Well, he was saying 150 at the beginning and 33 at the end.
Oh,
so
wow,
that's
okay.
20%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So winning is contagious, but quitting is also contagious.
Right. So yeah, for sure. Mhm.
Let's move on. Let's talk about chapter number 5. Talking about failure will make you stronger. Not being afraid of the circus. So in the book, they talk about when you fail, you go to this thing called the circus. And they make you work twice as hard.
Yeah.
You're done the day of SEAL training. I guess what do they call it? The drill sergeants. They keep you behind for an extra few hours of calisthenics. How do you?
Catalytic, I think he called it.
Yeah. Anyways, like flutter kicks and
Yeah.
sit-ups and running and more than everybody else.
Extra work.
So when you fail, they give you more tasks to do. And I can relate with that because there's been a few times in my life that I've definitely been to the circus. I can remember, not that long ago, when I was about 27, so about 8 years ago, I had shared some goals with the girl that I was seeing at the time. And I said, hey, I'm going to be making $300,000 this year. She said to me, wouldn't it be better if you had realistic goals? And a few months later, we weren't together anymore. She decided that, it was over. That's fine. But I ended up living on my own, a small condo, selling the house that we had. And those first few months were pretty horrible. I can remember going to the grocery store, wanting to pay for $27 worth of groceries, and the clerk saying, it's not going through. And bottom line, I didn't have enough money in my bank account, so I had to take food back and then settle for the bare minimum. I remember getting back home to that condo and my hydro was cut off. So that's the circus, right? That's a difficult moment. It's a dark time. You call back hydro and you're like, I need to get my hydro reconnected. And they're like, well, okay, you need to be there tomorrow between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. And they won't give you a specific time. Has that ever happened to you?
No.
No?
Yeah.
So they won't give you a specific time. And I was supposed to show a house that morning. And it's like, you're in that circus. You're in that very difficult moment. And to be quite honest, looking back on it, it's made me so much more unafraid of losing, right? And in return, it's made me stronger to go for what I really, really want, because that motivation of not wanting to be there anymore is what pushed me to achieve a goal of making over 300,000. So it's funny sometimes when life gives you those crushing defeats, it's sort of like a gift that will catapult you to great success, or to go to newer heights.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you guys have any experience with like something like that where you've suffered crushing defeats or you've find it more difficult and then you end up on the backside being a bit more.
Happened to me in my real estate career as well. So it was my first year, sold a few homes. I was starting, it was going okay, but not spectacular. I was always dreaming. I had big goals, big numbers, and I felt like it wasn't happening. And then there was 1 month, I think I sold 7 homes. I was at 7 conditional sales at the same time.
Whoa.
It was insane.
That's busy.
Well, not just busy. I was ecstatic. It was finally happening.
For those that don't know, most realtors on average sell about 8 houses a year. You had 7 going at the same time.
Yeah, but big but here, because all 7 of them fell apart within 3 days.
Ooh.
Because of inspection, because of some financing, some everything. Now that I'm more experienced, I probably would have saved a few.
Wow.
But once the first ones fell apart, like, okay, and then the second, third, fourth, and then bang, within 3 days, I had 0 sales. And like, it was from my first big month to nothing.
That's rough.
Like I was almost crying in my office, right? My manager at the time came to me and said, well, you know what? You still have all those clients. They still want to buy. They still want to sell. You still have the listings. It's just going to happen next month. And it did happen next month. But at the time when I first started, I'm like, is this really what real estate is? Is it going to happen every day? Like you felt like you worked so hard. And so I spent a month working like a freaking animal. And at the end of the month, I made $0. So like it was but hey,
it's hard to hit a grand
a
slam in this
lot of
business.
lessons. Well, and at the same time, like I learned a lot because then one guy came to me and he just sat down and was like, okay, so why'd you lose this one? Well, blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, you could have done this. You could have done that. And then retrospectively, now I know. I should have saved a few, right? Mm-hmm. So you learn from it. And now there are some deals that I'm saving I will keep because of these failures.
You learn.
If things go well all the time, it's tough to learn new things.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, it sucks,
Yeah.
but that's the way it is, man.
Yeah. I know a little bit about the circus as well. Like when I first started studying to become a realtor, a girlfriend at the time and myself had left each other.
Seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Well, that time in my life, I was still working in construction, and work was slow. So I was not broke, but pretty much. All right, I was flat broke. And then I had to move out of the house that we both lived in. And I stayed on your couch for about a month.
It was a good couch.
I felt like a goddamn loser. I mean, although we had fun, I still felt like a freaking loser. Trying to study for real estate, trying to find work in construction, trying to, live. And the one morning that I did find, or starting a new job, that one morning I get to my car, I got a parking ticket. I'm already broke as hell. And then I get to the job site and I'm like, why the hell am I here, man? Like, fucking, yeah. But I still pulled through, and it made me...
Those low moments.
Yeah, exactly. It made me stronger, for sure.
They catapult you to want more.
But like, if things were going super well,
Yeah.
maybe you would have never taken your license.
Well, exactly. I think you need to have your back against the wall, and just the only way is up, man. Like, I think it's a must. You need that pain once in your life.
There's some people out there, man, that are just getting by. It's good. It's fine.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And then it's fine, but it's never great.
Mm-hmm.
The paychecks are coming in. It's stable.
Yeah.
Payments are made, but they never suffer. But they never make it.
Yeah.
To
Safe
great
is
things.
boring.
Well, so
Good is the enemy of great. Is the
Okay.
best.
Well, that's another one.
Yeah.
it's a good line, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the name of a book.
Oh yeah.
If
Let's
I'm
look
being
it up.
fair. Yeah. Good is the enemy of great. So yeah, you need to go to the circus sometimes, man. It's it freaking sucks when you're there, but retrospectively, looking back, it does slingshot you to new opportunities.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, and the one thing at the time that my colleague, what he said to me is, keep in mind that I think the stat that he said, and it was true at the time, maybe it's different now, but 80% of realtors were out of the business within 2 years.
Oh yeah,
because it's good when you're in, but it's hard to actually make it in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, I'm not going back. Like, this is the career, so I have to make it happen, right?
Yes.
So it's just a push to, okay, I do still have the clients, freaking let's go, and make it happen. And you know what? When you put your heart into it, it does work.
as a real estate coach, I've been noticing that people that have other jobs other than real estate, it's very difficult for them to make a career out of real estate because they're so comfortable.
Yeah.
They've got that steady paycheck coming in, so they're not pushing. They might be hard workers, but they're not going that extra mile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to burn your bridges in order to succeed the best you can in this business. I think in any business or any project that you start, like, go all in. That's it. There's no other way, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, who was it that came to North America trying to build a colony, and they burnt the ship so they couldn't go back?
Apparently that's not true.
true.
Yeah,
I read that too. Yeah.
Was that in the Benjamin book that he says it's not true?
I don't think it's in the Franklin book. No.
I recently learned.
Well,
that.
so maybe we did read it in the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good
myth.
analogy.
Yeah.
And
They burned their ships.
Well,
there are some bridges that you always want to keep.
I'm off to
open,
Quebec
right?
today. I'll burn my car once I get there. I ain't coming back.
but for them, the captain at the time, the reason, assuming it's true.
Isn't Be More Pirate? No?
Oh no, I didn't read that. So.
No, okay.
So the reason they did it was that most of the crew wanted to go back, so they weren't putting their heart out into making actually this colony happen. So they burned the ships and you have no choice. You're staying here now. So
Do or die.
that's it. So now, it worked.
Yeah.
Assuming it happened,
But the analogy is still very good.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about the last chapter, which is one of my favorite, chapter number 10, Never Ever Quit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one that resonated a lot with me for multiple reasons. But there's, two ways of seeing quitting. You can quit big things like your job or your big project you're trying to get into, or quit your marriage, stuff like that. But there's also quitting the small things, and it kind of happened to me when I started running last year for the first time, and it was kind of funny because I was reading on how to start running, and it was always like, so go at it, and then once you're tired, walk, and then go at it and walk, go at it. But for a month, I was walking every kilometer because every time I'd be tired, I'd walk, and it was okay to walk, right? I was quitting on myself every time. Mm-hmm. But then I read something else like never walk, and then as soon as you make the switch, I stopped quitting, just kept on going, and you just tell yourself I can't quit, right? And the issue with letting yourself quit on the small things is it becomes a habit, and then it becomes okay to quit. If you tell yourself this weekend I'm gonna take care of my finances, but then you get invited to something else, and then you feel lazy, you're hungover, whatever, and you say, oh, I'm gonna do it next weekend, and then you're okay with quitting on that and doing it next weekend, then it becomes a habit. It's always okay to quit. If you're saying you're going to do 10 prospect calls today, and then at 3 you're like, I'll do it tomorrow, it's okay to quit. Like, don't let yourself being okay to quit. Never ever quit.
Yeah.
Stop lying to yourself, because that's what you're doing. Way forward is just to keep doing what you told yourself you were going to do. It's very important.
He did mention at the end of this book that he believes that hope is the most powerful thing in the universe. And thinking about it, you have to agree with him. Hope it's not really a thing. It doesn't weigh anything. You don't need a lot of it to create mega changes, right? Napoleon Hill does talk about it in his book, Think and Grow Rich. Yeah. It's one of the attributes that you need in order to develop a good persistence. Always believing that a win is still possible. If your back is against the wall, right? If you're Muhammad Ali and you're getting friggin' punched out by, was it Joe Frazier when he was up against the rope? Like, he knew that he was going to win, right?
Rope-a-dope.
Yeah. So,
well, that's it. And like, if you don't have hope, like let's say you're suffering and you have zero hopes of making it through, you're not making one more step.
Your only option is quitting.
Why would you keep going?
Yeah. You're done.
There's no reason to go.
You got no fight.
That's it. You got to hope.
Always hope.
Yeah, and give people hope.
And in real estate, it becomes apparent when you've been doing it for a while, right? Something looks like it's not coming together, and then you have seen the patterns, you have understood, and you tell everybody, just wait, something's gonna change, and then boom, lender comes out of nowhere. Hey, we've got this new rate for you. We got.
Hey. Yeah. No, you're right.
Or how many times you're down. It's January. I have no clients, or not. It's all for March and April business. Then bang, you get a call from a friend saying, "Hey, I want to put an offer on this house."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go. Like it's just have hope. It does come in. Yeah.
So if you quit, then you'll never get there. Right?
Yeah.
The only no that matters is the one you accept.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. One other chapter that I really liked is the one where he talks about when you're neck deep into mud, start singing. To when you're, what's the name of the chapter again?
I think it was hope.
When you start singing when you're neck deep in mud. Chapter 8 or 9.
Right. Give people hope. So it reminded me of when I worked in construction. So often we would finish our 8-9 hour day just beat up, just completely tired. Feet would hurt, arms would hurt, just, fed up. And then we get a call, guys, we need to finish this one tonight because we're starting a new job tomorrow. Ooh. And we look around us and we have like another 4 or 5 hours of work. I'm already beat up. But then we crank up the music and start calling each other names and start making us laugh. And then next thing you know, the job was done in like 2.5 hours. We would actually complete the amount of work quicker than we would have during the day, just because we knew we had to go that extra mile, have to pick each other up and just keep going. So it reminded me of that. Like construction, man, like it's not easy, especially like in the wintertime. It's freezing. You need to, work twice as hard to get the same job done. So it just reminded me of that and sort of made me miss the camaraderie of construction. A little bit like not like the SEALs, but
neck deep in insulation and you're itching all over.
It was just those were, as much as I hated being in the middle of that, we had so much fun while we were doing it, as painful as it was.
Yeah, my last half marathon that I did in Philly was at the kilometer 13th. I hit my wall. That's where I hit it. And I was like, okay, keep going. And then up a hill, and it's like, it was really tough. And then I just see this guy on a wheelchair. Okay?
Oh, shit.
The guy's on a wheelchair. He's at kilometer 13 as well. Like this. Like he couldn't let go of the wheels because it was coming back. So he had to like go a little bit, keep one hand there, and then like it's crazy. So you see this, you're like, I'm tired. Come on.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Let's go. Like, I mean, it's just.
Did you help him up?
Well, I encouraged him.
Yeah?
I said something. Well, like everybody was. It's like he patting him on the back. You had to. Like it was so inspiring. It was crazy. Or it's like when I run on a treadmill, I always listen to David Goggins' book because the guy ran 100 miles with both legs broken. And I'm just tired.
You don't know me.
I'm just tired,
Yeah.
Like the guy, I mean, what are you complaining about?
And if I may add, he was also shitting blood.
Yeah.
Pissing all over his legs and like shitting blood.
And he did an extra 20 mile after that.
Oh yeah. That was like for sure one of the best books ever.
We had the chance to interview a ultra marathoner.
Yeah.
His first 100 mile, he ran like 50 miles. And like he was done. He sat down. He was like, I'm done. I'm not. He got up. He ran another 50 miles.
Mm-hmm.
That second wind, like.
Yeah.
So the quitting did creep in, with Mathieu.
Yeah.
But
and the reason why the older you get, the better you are at these marathons is because it's a mind game. You're more mature and you're more patient.
It's more of a
and
mind.
that's why, like, I think. For peak performance time is when you reach 33, 34. Is that what he was saying?
I think it's a bit old. It's in that range,
Yeah.
right?
Does it mean we're peaking right now?
Well, you should be at your best.
Disappointing.
You should be at your best. Physically, it depends on how hard you train, but mentally,
true, but that's if you started a while ago,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So,
but he was saying like mentally that's when you're at your strongest because you're more patient. Because the biggest challenge when you're running these, I don't know how many miles is a marathon.
Ultra marathon is 100 miles.
No, so
a marathon
an ultra marathon is anything past a marathon.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like
Okay.
if you're 42.2 kilometers, you're doing 50. That's an ultra.
Okay.
So
It's a definition.
And you're alone with your mind. Like,
Yeah.
what else are you gonna do? Like, you're running and you're battling against your own thoughts of quitting. Like, you have time to contemplate your life and think about suicide.
there's some races that are like 250 miles.
That's crazy.
Well, the Moab 240.
Oh my
So
God.
it's like in the desert, hills and everything. 240 miles, which is I saw it and I had to calculate it. It's like 386 kilometers. You never stop. Like the girl that did it, she finished, I think it's 10 or 20 hours before the second person.
Courtney DeWalt.
Yeah. Yeah, the Walter, yeah. And like just it's kind of crazy because you hit so many walls.
Yeah.
Like it's not just, you hit one wall and okay, keep going, but you hit them constantly. And it's just to keep yourself
Didn't she go blind halfway
the,
through?
so the last 10 miles she was half blind. She kept falling, like, and you're in hills and all. Her pacer had to like hold her on some cliffs on the side just to make sure she didn't fall out and die.
Oh,
Like she came to the end, and she was bleeding from everywhere because she was just falling down because she was going blind. And you keep
Wow.
going, like you see her going, and you're like, "Well, I'm on my 7th kilometer." And like, what are you doing? Keep going.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
I can't help but think that I would not put myself in that position, so I'm good. Congrats. What's her name? Congrats, Courtney. But I will not put myself in that position.
It's a good
Jeez.
sport to learn how not to quit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll start with a 10.
It's that's kind of what I learned with running. Well, and I'm really far from ultras, but like it's just at one point it hurts, and just keep going after it hurts. That's what differentiates you.
Yeah. The second wind, it's a real thing.
The second win, yeah.
I usually stop when my nipples start chafing. That's when I know I need to stop.
You need some better shirts.
Like The Office, that episode where he starts bleeding. That's so funny.
Well,
Michael,
a lot of them, like ultras,
Oh yeah.
like you have to wear special things.
Yeah, don't wear a white shirt. It looks like your chest is crying. Jeez.
right on. So,
Ready to rate it?
yeah, let's do the rating.
But before, there's one thing that's mentioned in there that I loved, and it was, we all think sometimes, oh, this guy's doing so well, I wish I was this guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's always somebody that's going to be better than you at something, right? He turned it around saying there's always somebody that's worse than you, or that's worse off, and he said that right after he went to see that injured soldier.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And so he goes to see that injured soldier, and then the soldier is like missing 2 legs. He's burnt across his whole body is burnt. He can't even speak. And the only thing that he said was in sign language, because he couldn't speak, is "I will be okay."
Yeah.
Really? Like so, and then a year later, he's challenging his fellow army buddies to pull-up contests. Like, I mean, that's the spirit you need to have.
Yeah.
There's always somebody that's worse off than you. Right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Pick yourself up and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're rating this?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So I always go last, so I'm going to go again first.
Oh, well,
I'm
give
rating...
me your pen, please.
I'm rating this book not as the guy that has the level of experience that I have reading these types of book, but for somebody who wants to get into the self-development, this is an excellent book to get started with. It would be my number one recommendation now. Think and Grow Rich has always been my first one, but I think this replaces, not as my favorite, but as an introduction to the self-development. The audio book is like an hour and a half, right? It's short, it's easy. You've got tons of great lessons. It's a very powerful book. So I'm giving it a 4.81.
Oh, wow. That's your best so far.
I think, yes,
Yeah.
it is, yeah.
For me, there's one thing that I hate in books like this, and it's somebody that's just trying to get to a certain number of pages and putting examples just to fill out pages.
Yeah.
Like just some fluff in there. I'm looking in every book at a few lessons that I can learn, and if it takes me 100 pages or 125 like this one versus 600 to get there, I'd always pick the 125.
Of course.
And this book there has 15 lessons that I can put in my life tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
I put a 4.4, which I think is my third best book so far. But it's phenomenal book. Like it was a quick read, and I always love a book that at the end of the book you're like, I could have gone for another 25 pages instead of finally, So
Yeah.
that was one of them.
Yeah. Well, I gave it a 4.8.
Wow.
I really like this book, and it's one that I would read all over again because every chapter has awesome stories concerning his SEAL training, and like there's so many stories we could have talked about here, and I really liked it. I'll recommend this book all day long.
Right on.
And I like these army guys books.
They're uncommon people.
Uncommon people, great stories, and like I could see myself in his shoes and like almost wanting to join the SEALs, like.
And then on day 2, you'd be like, what did I do?
Yeah, I would just go there to ring that bell.
Yeah, I went to SEAL training. Rung that bell.
Yeah. Like G.I. Jane.
Did she ring the bell?
She didn't ring
No,
the bell.
she did.
Did she?
She was forced to do it. Or they like kind of there's something they would do to her career. So it's a long time ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like she did ring it, And then, but it was after Hell Week. She had gone through everything. It was a political thing. And then at the end, she came back and completed the program.
That was a good movie.
Is there ladies in the SEALs now?
I don't think so.
No, right? We should look into that, because next week we are starting another Navy SEALs book, Jocko's new book. It's called, I've got it right here, Leadership Strategy and Tactics. So it was just released a few days ago. So it'll be fresh off the press.
Nice.
Still warm. So it should be an interesting read. He's an interesting character.
Was he on Joe Rogan?
Yes.
2 times.
Mhm.
Yeah, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has his own podcast too.
With Echo. His co-host.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good...
Echo the Dolphin.
Echo.
Cool.
Right on. So thanks again for tuning in. As always, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe, like, and give us your comments. Tell us what you think. If you have any books to recommend for the coming weeks, let us know. We'll see you next time.